I'm in and out of trades like pretty quickly, to be honest with you.
Uh-huh. So you're basically like struggling to hold a position?
Yeah, yeah. Like I have like a like fear that
Yeah.
it turn on me.
Somebody just literally told or asked me this same exact thing yesterday. And
Really.
yeah, on Instagram DM on my Maestro page, I was gonna make a post about it too, so I'll probably include that. Um, and yeah, she literally asked me. She was like, I was like, "What's your issue?" And she said, I'm trying to get back into trading by teaching myself how to find or understand patterns and supply and demand. Okay, that's one thing, but however, I'm lacking the confidence required for taking trades. So she asked me, how did you overcome your fear and just say, fuck it, I'm taking this trade? Is that kind of what, like
So
a
for
confidence?
me, it's not that I don't have any like I'm not scared to take the trade, bro. Like on the like on SPY, right? On Thursday, I was looking at it because it was selling off super hard, and I was looking and I found this double bottom that happened like a long time ago at what was it? What's the S&P 500 at? Something 67. What's the price? Let me check the hold on. I'm pulling up E-Trader now. Give me like 2 seconds.
Yeah, take your time.
Let me pull it up. So yeah, bro, literally at 5. Where is this? Because I'm on the monthly, daily. And what was the level? Yeah, bro, I was like, okay, 567. It went all the way back up to like 575. So that was like a $10 move. Um, So, anyways, man, I made $120 off of it. But the thing was, is like I literally sold at like 568, like 20 or something like that. And when I did that, it actually sold off pretty hard. And I was like, oh, okay, like I'm super glad I took my profit because, I'm always scared like stuff like that's going to happen. Like I'm green, I'm making good money. And then if it sells off super hard, like I just beat myself up over it because I'm like, dude, like you should have just taken your profit. But the
Mm-hmm.
problem is like in my mind, I knew that I knew my entry was 567. I knew that this was going to be an area of like demand. Like I had a feeling the buyers were going to step in. It was selling off for 2 days straight. Like I knew that if I was right, it was going to pay out big because of, it's been selling off for 2 days. And I knew if the buyers stepped in, it would just take off. Right.
Yeah.
So basically what happens is I think is when I have my plan and I see it out in my head. Once I see, green, I just take it super quick. And I'm kicking myself because dude, like I sold at 568. It went all the way up to $575. Like I could have caught, whatever, I guess an $8 move.
Mm-hmm.
That's because I was at what, like 567
Yeah.
and whatnot. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like I would have been huge.
I get what you're saying, dude. It's very emotional, and when you're taking options, I'm imagining, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
What time frame are you on actually?
I'm on the monthly time frame and then the frequency is 1 day.
You want 100%, right? Of like
Yeah.
success. Like this is a successful trade and I did everything. Like there's a lot that can kind of go wrong from thinking about a trade and looking at a chart to you taking the trade to how you act during the trade and what decisions you make during that trade. And at the end of the trade, you're always going to look back and be like, shoot, I screwed it up. So I don't think that you should knock yourself too much, first of all, before we dive into the deeper stuff on that you kind of sold too early. And sure, you did.
Yeah.
The facts are that you want to hold longer and you sold too early. Those are the facts. But you can't kick yourself for that because you made money, and that's
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
one
I
thing to look.
agree.
That's one thing to definitely pat yourself on the back about making money on the stock market. Great job on that SPY trade. What I love about what you've told me so far is that you waited for your level and you were patient. Um, Truthfully, the only problem you have is that you didn't hold long enough. And uh, as far as fixing that, I would ask you what plans you had for your quote unquote exit strategy, because it sounds like your entry strategy was like pitch perfect,
Yeah.
and you nailed the entry side of it, but there's also the other half of trading, which is, hey, how do I, get out of this? What do I want from this? What am I going to get out of this?
I don't really have an exit strategy, Pat. I think that's the problem is that there is no, I think I focused too hard on the entry, right? And
Uh-huh.
I hit the entry, but then I'm in the trade and I'm like, okay, like, I don't have an
Yeah.
exit strategy of like, okay, when it hits this level, I'm out.
Two things about entries, because it sounds like when you're in the trade, you're obviously worried about losing the gain that you've made there. One thing about that, I got past that just by thinking that it's not really a conventional way to think, but this is how I do it just to get past the issue. After I've
Uh,
entered and I'm up and I'm green, like let's say 15-20%, I don't consider that to be my money yet. Until I've closed the trade, that's like not my money. So I think what you might be going through, and it's very normal, every single person in the world that ever has traded has done this or gone through this. But if you
uh,
want to hold longer, you can't, on the way up, there's going to be some dragbacks.
uh,
It's just like anything in life. Like on the way through success, you're gonna have like pullbacks in life, and
yeah.
shit gonna happen. But that doesn't mean that you're losing. It's just kind of like your analysis is correct when it comes to stocks. Your analysis
Uh,
is good. You have to trust that analysis, and you have to see, just like you're entering, you're probably waiting for like a slowdown, right? And you're probably waiting for signs of demand and signs of buyers that are the sellers slowing down, then the buyers coming in. And then
uh,
at the top, after you've executed the trade successfully, you're gonna get out when you are gonna see the opposite of the entry stuff, right? So you're gonna see the slowdown at the top now instead of the bottom, and you're gonna see the buyers start to slow down and the sellers are gonna obviously start to pick up. And it's the
uh,
same reason SPY is dropping from 613 to where it just bounced at 568, or wherever it bounced at right here just this last Friday.
uh,
Low at 566, almost 565. So yeah, that's a big drop, and the reason why is because you've clearly got this supply zone here. So let's just say that you were like long on this into that, right? Why would you sell, like, let's say here at this? Would you exit here? Let's just think like why real quick.
no, because it doesn't show. I mean, it looks, like it's still got gas, like it's still on its way up. It does look like, I mean, it's like rounding up there at the top, but then it got this big buy. Like there's a huge, like that big green candle right smack dab in the middle. But then you can see it's kind of like it rounds to the downside and then sells off like
Yeah,
super, super high. I mean, to be honest with you, bro, it's a tough. I mean, that's for me. That's a tough read. Like,
yeah,
obviously, like yeah, it was kind of in supply for sure. Because if you go over to the far left, you can kind of see. I don't know what time. It's probably like 6:10 is where that was at. When you go over to the left, you can see it rounded over there, kind of hit
yeah,
that level 6:10 and sold off super hard. Then it looks like it was like consolidating for a while. Then it ripped up probably to like 6:11,
yeah.
consolidated, then went up to 6:13, and then it rounded again, and that's when it just failed right there. That was when
Yeah,
around.
for sure. And as far as the monthly time frame, I mean, you've been seeing this sideways action, and if SPY's bullish, it'll let you know. It'll just keep going up month after month after month, like very strong bullish price action. But
Uh,
currently it's been going sideways, and then obviously you can look at the macro stuff, like the election just happened, and ever since then, the market's been a little wonky since Trump's been in for the stock
yeah.
market. It's just been a little bit wonky.
Hmm.
This pattern here is showing me that it's just slowing down.
Uh,
That's the reason you'd buy something, is if the sellers were showing weakness. Like this upside down looks like a descending wedge. You know what I mean? But
uh,
this right here is kind of like an
yeah,
ascending.
yeah, yeah. I get what you're saying. Yeah, totally. Because I mean, it's kind of crazy, bro. It's like it's just going horizontal, kind of. I mean, that's kind of wild right there.
The
But then
whole
let's see, because you can tell it's like Oh, dude, that's kind of crazy. Not gonna lie, like it's pretty. It looks pretty even. Like, see how it's ascending, but it's like mirror images of each other. That's kind of wild, right
Yeah.
there.
The whole thing, though, even whatever, regardless of what you want to look at this as, an ascending wedge or not, whatever,
Uh,
there is the buyers are struggling to break out of the high, of the recent high. All right, and
uh,
how do you, just as a kid, we were doing this as little kids in like preschool, like analyzing charts like this and seeing like, oh,
uh,
if it's barely going higher before it gets sold off, doesn't that mean that everyone's just trying to get their last little buys in, their last little profit,
yeah.
and then they're quicker to take profits than they are confident to keep it ripping higher?
Mm-hmm.
So you can
Yeah, yeah.
that's the whole point. Regardless of the bear pattern that you see, if there is one or if there isn't one in your mind, it doesn't matter. The fact is that every time there is a new all-time high, the newspaper reads that very day, new all-time high SPY, right? And then the next few days it's
Yeah,
like shitty and sideways and not going higher, right? Whereas
yeah,
before all this current price action, this is nothing new. Like you see how it breaks a high, it consolidated over here a bit on the left, like this high right here is what I'm talking about. Went down, made a new high, right? It's not that much over this high, but then it
uh,
consolidates there, like proves
and it
that,
keeps going
yeah,
up.
and then
Yeah,
and then it
yeah,
keeps, it's like there's no doubting in anyone's mind that this is bullish price action. And then over
yeah,
here, it's when it starts struggling, it's when it starts struggling to
yeah,
really, and
yeah,
there's these three highs. There's this high here, and then this third high right here at the all-time high.
yeah.
That is
Totally.
that barely going up. That's why you would sell. So that's what I'm trying to show you right now is like literally let me pull up like a negative SPY. And it's the same shit, just literally downwards. Like that looks like a good buy, right? Because I'm literally just drawing the exact same thing I just drew, but upside down.
Yeah, from you're saying where's a good buy? Like right at the bottom there, where it's
Yeah.
kind of. I get what you're saying. Like
This is
you
literally
can
just,
tell it
yeah.
what at negative. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Totally. Yeah,
Like you
you just
see
flipped it.
in this, the sellers are slowing down right here on the downside in this example, and then
Uh,
there's just consistent rounding, like there's consistent failure to show that the sellers are strong here. Like yes, they're going
yeah.
lower, they're trending lower here, but then why the big spike is because every single time that the sellers barely made any traction on the downside, the stock just went back to the upside. So that tells me that
Yeah.
it's struggling to go lower, even though it is going lower. Like physically speaking here, the stock is showing that it's not strength. It's not strong when it goes down. It's not like a strong breakout to the downside. It's just like a little meep to the downside, and then it just gets ripped
Uh-huh.
upwards.
Yeah, totally. Because it's like I mean, and looking at the chart how it is right now, it's like it's very apparent that like the it's going to get bought up. Like people aren't selling it anymore because they feel like it's going to get bought up.
Right.
So yeah, bro. I mean, to be honest with you too, um, yeah, I feel like you're definitely the way that you're explaining it right now is really good because you're just kind of I feel like you're looking at more past days and what he was doing and
So
whatnot.
one more thing I'd tell you about, bro, is when you're coming to, about the entry, because I really want this to help you. It's like
Yeah,
two things about entries is, one is getting obviously the right area, and the other one is just knowing your stop loss. So once you've entered, like don't worry at all about getting it wrong until your stop loss is hit.
yeah,
So because then you're just thinking about the entry, then you're worried about after it's already gone your direction, if it goes back down you're going to lose that trade, so then you feel like you would have wasted your time. Like I get all of that and I understand that, everybody thinks that when they're trading, when they're in the middle of a trade. Nobody ever doesn't think that. It's normal,
uh-huh,
but it's gonna hurt you if you think that that money is already yours and you're worried about every little tick or dollar that it goes down. Like
yeah,
I've been super green on positions that I literally knew in my heart of hearts because I trusted my analysis. I've been super green on a position and then it just dropped out to me being negative, and I'm like, I know
damn, yeah,
I'm, yeah,
it
it
hurts, dude.
hurts. It hurts, but I'm like,
Yeah,
But I'm like, look, I'm gonna add more because I know where this is going. I'm confident in my analysis. And look, if I'm wrong, and I'll take it and know it for next time. But if you wanna trade for for a long time, like for the next 10 years at least, like you gotta be
Yeah.
okay with being a little bit of red after you've been green, And it's if you're trading options, obviously that's different, right? Even if you sold like 1 hour earlier on like a same day, and then that same hour after that it like ripped $5, and then your contracts went from when you sold at 100% to 2,000% now, would you kick yourself?
Yeah.
If the answer is yes to that, then you're not mature enough to trade options, because you
Yeah.
can't kick yourself when you sell too early and profit. I would be like, fuck yeah, I profited on options
Oh,
trade.
yeah.
That's
No, totally.
I've
Like,
done the
that's the thing
impossible.
is, like, I was stoked, right? Like, I was so stoked because, bro, like, I was plotting on this for 2 days.
Mhm.
Like, it was, it's like I visualized it, bro. I
Yeah.
visualized it happening, bro. And right before my eyes, it was happening. And I was like, okay, cool, $120. Like, you know what? I'm selling, right? And I was like, cool. Like, I'm going home a winner today. The thing is like, I just feel like I'm just leaving money on the table because I feel like what gets in my head too is, people say cut your losses, let your winners run. The thing is like, I have a hard time with letting the winners run. Like, I'm always just feel like I'm taking my profit too early. But that's another thing too, bro. I feel like I should have just trusted my analysis.
Mhm.
And I feel like what I'm really taking away from this too is like, there's gonna be pullbacks no matter what. Like, that shows that it's healthy. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, if it just ripped to the moon, like if it just went from 565 straight to 575, all green candles, it's gonna sell off so hard, bro. Like, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, it'd be scary because you're like, okay, this isn't healthy. But that's another thing that I need to take away from this is like, pullbacks are going to happen. I need to visualize them, like, then the fear gets me.
Let me
So,
run you through an example here. Do you remember when I got in UPS and I alerted UPS?
yes, bro, I
Like
do remember that.
it
Yeah, yeah,
was
yeah.
literally recently, like last month, and it dropped out from earnings. It hit all the way at this bottom, if you're still looking at my screen, to like
Yeah,
110.
I'm with you.
I got in at like just under 111, like pretty close to it. And that's
Uh-huh.
that's a great entry, like just right here. And I've been adding throughout that. But now it's like up here, right? So like I've been in options, like you were in options with me, ever
Yeah,
since then it's been moving upwards, and like
yeah.
this right here, I was thinking about it. I saw this big red candle, like not even big. This is like a $2 range of red candle here, and so that
Uh-huh.
pulled back before these last three green candles. Like that was that pullback, that red, this red one right
Mm-hmm.
here. So I definitely thought to myself like shit, like I wish I sold at 120. I thought that, but then I'm like, no, 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 because I'm not taking this trade because of like the daily. I'm taking this trade because of the monthly time frame, and
Yeah.
I'm taking this trade because of the yearly time frame. The yearly
Mm-hmm.
time frame is why I'm taking this trade. Like I know this is a good company at a good spot. I'm buying this at like 2015 levels, you know?
Uh-huh.
Like I'm
Yeah,
buying
totally.
I'm buying
You
this
know
10
that
years.
it's bullish basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm buying this 10 years in the past, but like in the future technically, I guess, like cuz
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
10
yeah.
years forward. This company, have they been profiting every year? You got to look at that, and then you say, "Okay, well shit, I'll like would you buy this company 10 years ago at 115 if and now, 10 years and now, 10 years in the past that? Like that's where it was
Yeah.
last time it was here. Even at 2014, it was even lower than the high of
Mm-hmm.
2014. Why, like, I don't see what I'm talking about with this lesson today that we're talking about. The point I'm not selling for is because of my one, me trusting my analysis, two, me not
Yep.
seeing like any real reason to sell yet. There's no
Uh-huh.
slowdown on the buys. You know what I mean? Like, there's not really a slowdown here yet. It's
Yeah.
just moving upwards, and that's just how this kind of stock works. Like, it makes these aggressive moves upwards, and then it consolidates and then drops. So why don't I just wait for it to like stop going up, then consolidate, then I'll sell? Because then I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm good. I mean, this thing is It's sold off really hard. It's got a giant gap to fill on the daily right here.
Yeah,
Like
dude,
there's
that
this
is a fat gap.
right. So I'm just waiting, you know. It's too late to enter now for anyone that wants to enter this, but my you got to enter when you see a bull hammer in a demand zone from 2014.
Yeah, yeah, for real. No, that's a good eye, bro. I mean, it's a really good eye.
I don't even have a good eye, I swear. I just literally look on the monthly time frame of every single stock I can possibly think of. Like J&J is one I'm still holding. I have the zone right here from when I was teaching this last time or analyzing this last time. Like I've been waiting for
Yeah.
this 145 area because on the monthly time frame from October of last year from or 2 years ago, and then of May of last year, and then just now when we entered, like it's been flying up on the monthly
Hmm.
time frame because of this giant consolidation. And not only
Yeah.
that stuff, but the yearly time frame. Like I'll go on the yearly. I would suggest you go on the yearly
I
time
was about to
frame.
say, dude, I never, ever, ever look at the
Go
yearly,
on the
so that's
nobody
something that I
does.
should start doing.
But if you want to catch like 10, 20, $50 moves, you go on the yearly time frame and you're basically like, you would it's the same thing as you catching a couple bucks on SPY. Like you're just identifying a setup, you're just buying further out and waiting longer, and now you're going to
Yeah,
wait like a month and your options are going to be up like 300, 400% because you waited a month on the
yeah,
yearly time frame. That's what I'm literally dealing with UPS.
that's sick. Yeah, dude, I think it's the patience for sure. It's the patience, I think, with me, which
Yeah.
is, I feel like I'm getting better with it, bro. Because
Yeah.
I found, SPY, like, I made my plan and I waited. I waited, bro.
Yeah.
Like, so much stuff was going on and I was just, checking it every
Mhm.
day, looking at it where my work. I'm like, okay, like, because I saw it. I saw it and I said, okay, I'm going to be patient. I'm not going to jump the gun, and it worked out for me. And exactly, I feel like once I kind of, once I'm nailing it here, which I feel like, and honestly, bro, I feel like I've really been nailing it. But that's another thing too. It's like I'll nail it, make my money, and then I'm out quick.
Mhm.
So that's why, because I know you got these trades that you have the patience and the confidence in your analysis to be able to just let them run, and that's where I'm trying to get comfortable with doing that,
Mhm.
because swing trading is scary. Like it's it's a lot, but if you can trust your analysis,
You
it's not.
just trust the analysis. Just you
Yeah,
got to trust your analysis on that, and then
yeah,
that's all I'm doing. I'm not doing anything. I'm not scared ever now anymore. And it's just because I'm like, look, I'm trusting my analysis. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm taking the emotion out of it and
yeah,
it might come off as confidence, but literally I'm just taking the scared out of it. Like I'm not even
yeah,
confident. I'm not confident. If confidence and fear are people see them as different, but I see them like they can exist at the same time. You can still be scared but also have that confidence. And there's
yeah.
this very old guy who said his name was Sun Tzu, and he was like that. He was like trying to remember the verbatim quote, but something along the lines of,
Okay.
"When you are weak,
Yeah,
appear strong, and when you are strong, appear weak."
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
it's with
yeah.
trading,
That makes sense.
I see that with trading, like when I don't have this supreme confidence, I just don't have fear anymore when I'm trading because I'm taking the emotion out of it and I'm trusting my entry and I'm trusting my stop loss and I'm just letting my money cook.
No,
With anything when it relates to money, has having emotions in anything you've ever done in life when money's involved, has that ever been profitable for you?
yeah, probably not.
Like most likely not. Even if it
Yeah,
has, it's lucky probably. If it
yeah,
has, it's
right.
most likely luck. But if like a gamble at a casino, like maybe you were just
Mm-hmm.
like, oh fuck it, let me do it, and then it hits black or something on the table or roulette or something.
Yeah, and then you're
Then
cooked.
yeah, then you're like, yeah, I did it. And then you're afraid that whole time. You're afraid. So
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. I'm afraid sometimes when I trade. Still am. You're
yeah,
always gonna be there.
yeah,
Always gonna be there. You just can't get rid of that. And there's no reason to think that somebody can get over that. But the difference is, it's not about not being afraid, but it's about just knowing what to do when you feel that way. So when I'm afraid, I'm just like, no, I'm good. I got my entry. My analysis is here. I've done all the analysis necessary. It's like being afraid for a test, you know? Like, how can you can't be afraid for the test anymore. After a certain amount of studying, all the material,
Yeah,
after a certain amount of studying everything that the professor told you to study, like, you go in the test and you're like, look, I either know it or I don't now. Like, I studied every single thing. And then you're just like,
yeah,
your back's against the wall and you're just like, I'm good. Like, I don't know,
yeah,
nothing, I can't learn any more material. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
That's a
Like,
good. Yeah, that's a good example. Yeah,
I
that's a good
already
example.
know. Like, yeah, so you whatever the test throws at you has to be an ultimate curveball for it to not for you to not have been prepared for it because you've already done all the studying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, totally. And sometimes a curveball happens, but that's like once in a blue moon.
Yeah,
But
it's too rare
yeah,
to be
dude.
afraid of it. So,
No, totally. And I think that's another thing too is like I need to stop like trading very close. Like it's like I need to look at the bigger picture, bro. And I think you told me this before.
journal it to yourself or type it in like the group or whatever you got to do, just wherever you want to put it. I don't care. Just put it anywhere that you remember it.